Hey, so you clicked on this video because you have a relationship with your lead pastor. You're a worship director, and you're like, it's kind of a little toxic. Like, I have an idea about song selection. I have an idea about vision. He has an idea. Maybe he's ignorant. He doesn't understand music at all. Listen, we're going to have a very vulnerable conversation. I have two national worship directors with me and my wife who leads nationally as well. And we're going to share some stories about how we all duked it out, how we've had fights, how we've had differing opinions. And if you're watching this and you're saying, I don't want to have to leave my church, Pastor Mike, I love everything about my church except for my relationship with my lead pastor. I'm a worship director, or maybe you're a lead pastor and you're looking at this as like, I don't understand why there's so much tension between me and my worship director. We're going to jump in and have a very powerful conversation for the next 15 minutes. So you need to stick around for the entire duration of this talk. So guys, let's just like jump right into this thing.
Get into it.
So I'm going to kick it back to you guys. Like, what is it like having a relationship with a lead pastor, trying to lead? I mean, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Oh, man.
And don't give us the soft stuff. Like, we want the tea.
Yeah,
you
people
know what I
are
mean?
here because they
We've
need the
experienced
unadulterated
it.
truth.
Yeah, the truth. Yeah.
Well, so I give them what it's like to serve with a lead pastor or with a lead pastor that's Mike Signorelli.
True.
Man, it's incredible to have gone on this journey, and like we've come a long way from a lot of stuff that we've done, and there's so much like weird tension I feel like around worship leaders or a director or whatever position you're in that in their lead pastor or the pastor at their church, where it's kind of like there's always like this understood they won't completely understand my side of the story. You know, where it's like
It feels like us versus them.
exactly. Yeah, where it's like he's the pastor and he's doing his thing, but like I know worship and like I'm gonna just do my thing, right?
Yeah.
And then there ends up being like this lack of actual unity, at which like starts to divide things in the church.
Yeah.
Which is dangerous.
Let's try to like diagnose the problem, okay? Because we've led worship at several churches. We've had this dynamic. The story I'm thinking of right off the jump is, do you remember when I just played House of Blues on the Saturday night?
No, I remember.
Do you want to tell her? Or do you want me to tell?
Fit.
I threw a big fit. So I was
front
not
of
the
our
lead
pastor,
I was
who
not
was
the
an
lead
angel,
pastor.
by the way.
Yeah, he was an
Shout
incredible
out.
man of
He was
God.
incredible.
But this will help people understand. Maybe you've been
Not his
so
fault.
I have a high level of excellence. Like I want to give the Lord the best. And I had just played House of Blues the night before in front of a packed out audience. Now I'm at my local church the next day. And we used to use like stands with the music, and nobody knew
Different
the keys
time.
of the song.
Yeah.
Nobody knew how to play it. And I was the only one. And I threw a fit and was like, I literally took my guitar and said, I'm not even leading worship today. I'm not even going to be on stage. You guys do it. I'm not giving God.
Oh, boy.
And I made this huge issue. Remember that?
Yeah, and he walked away, and I was like, like I had to clean it all up. I was like, oh, this is
If
not
I see
great.
one more iPad on this stage,
Yeah. I had to do that awkward thing where, you know, like my husband just threw a fit. I have this whole team looking at me. And I just was like, you know, he's just really tired. He wasn't the lead pastor at the time.
But if
you
you're
know?
diagnosing the problem, probably someone feels like, I want to be Belonging Co., but my pastor doesn't. I want to be Elevation Worship, but my pastor doesn't. Like, there's a mismatch expectation.
And I
That would
will
be a
say,
huge thing.
Well, here's the thing. We've been on both sides of the fence. So
Yes.
we're lead pastors now, but we also have been worship team members. We've been worship team leaders. We've just been people who have participated on a team. So, and we're like fresh out of that world. We've only been lead pastor for what, 7-8 years at this point. So, you know,
only
it's
1/4 of our entire life.
Only 1/4 of our entire life, right?
That's good math.
You know, some people have been doing this for 50 years, 60 years, whatever. So I just want to preface, like, it's been a learning curve. And I think we try to lead with love and understanding as a lead pastor. Like, we know what it's like to be in your guys' position. We know what it's like to have a Sunday where people aren't prepared. We know what it's like to have a Sunday where things are train wrecking all over the place. So I think we come with a lot of empathy. If
Yeah, I was
pastors
gonna say
are
that.
listening, I would ask you to have more empathy, you know, for the people that you're leading, because you may not know, the lead pastor may not know how to play an instrument. We're kind of the exception.
Yeah.
You know what
So
I mean?
maybe if you guys want to speak into that, because it seems like what we're talking about is the tension that you mentioned is mismatched expectations.
Yeah, and what's the vision?
Yeah.
What do
Getting
you do?
behind
Yeah,
it.
like what do you do when the pastor, to your point, doesn't get it? Because like I play multiple instruments, you sing. So you're right. Like when we became lead pastors, we basically said, let's make a worship culture that isn't like what we had to suffer through. And so I think even though we didn't build a perfect culture, it was better.
Yeah, I think it's built on trust. I think it's learning to trust through honor and submission to the vision. If you are there to follow a vision of a lead pastor, it's if you're there, you're saying, yes, I'm here to do that and to get behind that. And so checking that, but also remembering that they're pastors. Their father hearts and mother hearts are to shepherd a flock. And so those are always the intentions. So if we can come to that common ground of we're here to shepherd and we're here to build the body of Christ. And so that builds that trust and empathy. And then, giving each other the benefit of the doubt. If you expect that your pastor is not going to understand or not relate to, instead of honoring what they are going with, and then that builds trust in you as a leader to then say, okay, we can now dialogue and we can build this together. Someone has to go first.
Speaking even deeper on that, and like I'll preface what I'm about to say with, you brought me into this. So the reason I know this is because you as a lead pastor brought me into this. And it's the idea of what true co-laboring means in ministry. So a lot of time a worship leader will be like, I understand what needs to happen and you don't. But what you don't understand is that lead pastor is really stressed about, why are my people not tithing? Why is there other conflict happening? I have to deal with these marriage issues. The building might not be able to pay all these bills, right? And so Pastor Mike brought me into those conversations. So what I was trying to do, and I'm my pastor, I was frustrated about stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's like what you do is you go, no, I'm going to carry the lead pastor's weight. What you're doing is you're taking weight on you as a leader. That's not your weight. You're trying to carry a lead pastor weight by making the decisions when you should be co-laboring, helping your lead pastor carry the weight.
That's rich.
That's really good.
Right? So when you help your pastor carry the weight, now there is a mutual understanding where if you come to your lead pastor and I bet you'll agree with me. And you be
I already do right now. You're in a good place. You're in a good place.
If you go to your lead pastor, and you go like, hey, I have some ideas about how we can make worship better and more impactful, but what are some concerns that you have for the church that I could better help you with? Let me tell you, if you want to increase your budget for worship,
start there.
Yeah. I don't know if you're teaching how to manipulate your lead pastor. No, I'm teasing.
Steps to submission. It's steps to serving.
Well,
what does serving your pastor
Absolutely.
look like? Are we here to serve and wash the feet? Like, what does it look like? How does it look like to serve our pastors?
Well, what Steph brought though is you brought the supernatural perspective, because it's like, and then what you brought, if you combine it together, basically what you're saying is you might know your instrument better than your pastor, but until you know submission, you don't know the supernatural.
It's true.
You may know how to sing better than your pastor, but until you know how to serve your pastor, you don't know the supernatural. So what's happening is you're actually performing, not worshiping. And what you're saying is, how does our church get better at performing? And your pastor's like, let's get better at worship, because worship is surrender. Worship is submission. And what I hear you guys saying is, learn submission, learn serving, and then you'll be in the posture of worship, which will actually increase the worship program.
Yeah, because I was in a situation, guys. I was in a toxic situation before I came here, and I could blame ups, down, and sideways why it went wrong on other people. But I did not submit. Like, I did not serve and surrender, like in my heart, in my posture, in my leadership. And then, coming into this house and leading under people who had patience to see me through that process of what that looked like, even making feeling the frustrations and bucking in certain ways and pushing against like things I didn't feel comfortable with yet, but loving me through it, seeing my potential, and that's the other side of it, of like, that invites submission. Like, you guys invite submission by your care and by the trust that you really draw out of people.
I also think like lead pastors, they have to, if they're not already, and if you are, great job, you're doing great. But like, you have to, we as lead pastors, because I'm in a unique position. Not only do I lead, like, am I the worship pastor for our church, but we're also married. So there are times when
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
There are times where it gets really complicated. I mean, we have vision conversations. Sometimes it's time conversations, dynamic conversations. But at the end of the day, anything that is under the ministry umbrella of this church, he is my pastor. And I don't know if that helps like family ministry dynamics, because a lot of times in worship teams, there's family dynamics. But, we have to ride that train. But also, so I respect your office and I respect it greatly on the dynamic of not only in our home as a husband and wife, but also in our team. So like there are times when we're frustrated with you, believe it or not. But we like so guys, let's talk about it. You all want the D? You want the D? Yeah. Like we just moved our broadcast location.
Talk about it.
Let me pull out my notes.
But like we just had a huge transition in our church where we moved our broadcast location.
Well, we moved our main broadcast location.
And it was a practical decision, based on the where our church is headed. And so it had nothing to do with
We were about to lose
emotion.
a venue.
Yes.
We still could lose the venue any day as soon as somebody comes and is willing to pay more money.
Yes.
So we made the long-term stable decision to move it to New York City from Long Island.
Yes. But with that, there's a lot of orientation that we had to do to make
shifting,
that work.
Changing things,
technological, interpersonal.
Interpersonal, people had vision questions. And so we had to navigate that. But what I love is that I was approachable, you were approachable, and we just had every conversation as it came.
Yeah.
And we were just nobody felt like they couldn't come to us. And I think sometimes in a pastor team dynamic, specifically on worship, either the pastor feels unapproachable, like to the team, or vice versa. They don't feel like they can go to their worship leaders and say, here's what we're really doing here. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, because on the worship leader side, a lot of times they'll immediately go in the defensive if a pastor approaches them about something where it's like, yeah, but like this because of this and this and this, and you understand this, and immediately the lead pastor is like, I don't know how I'm going to get through to this person and explain actually why I had to make this decision. I have a good one about a time I was frustrated with both of you.
Great. Okay, let's do this in front of a live audience.
No, but this one really taught me so much about leadership. When COVID happened and everything went down and the whole shutdown happened, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't yet working for the church, but I was in leadership, leading all of our worship teams with Pastor Julie. And we decided that, you guys decided that we were going to stop worshiping in buildings. We couldn't anymore. And we're only going to do videos. And we're going to do like videos from basements and mesh them together and make like a big video, right? And I'm immediately like, all right, let me plan. Here we go. I'm going to do this. I'll make this video. This person's going to do that. And Pastor Julie calls me and she goes, hey, don't do anything. And I'm like, what do you mean don't do anything? And she's just, we got this one. And like me and Pastor Mike are going to handle it. And I'm like, I'm the worship leader. Like, why am I not handling this? I was so upset because I'm like, why would you not have me handle this? This is my thing.
Yeah.
And little did I know that what they were doing was they were setting up the groundwork to see if something was going to fail so that they can fail before me.
Yes.
And like, it almost makes me emotional just thinking about this because like they really taught me like the reason I didn't bring you in is because I need to make sure that this was sustainable for other people before I released it to you. And I was just bitter because like they don't trust me to handle this. And it wasn't, but little did I know, the second they tested it, they installed me in a level of authority that was higher than I thought I was going to have.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
And it's like, but when you immediately go on the defensive, when it's like, they don't get it, why am I not over this? I'm the leader. Just trust that your pastors are set as the authority of the church and they're accountable to the Lord. So it's like, I'm going to trust that my pastors are doing what they know the Lord's calling them to do. And I'm going to be like, okay, how can I support? You know?
I'll also say, thank you for sharing that because I didn't know that story. So this is like real worship tea and I like it. I'm here for it.
Worship tea.
But I will say that like you're as a worship leader, so your heart, it has to be for your pastor. So if you're in this situation where you're always frustrated or you're always whatever, I can guarantee you, like Steph had just said, like it's not always them. It might be you, and you have to look at your own heart. And I'm not saying maybe your pastor does have things that he's got to work on or whatever, but I would say 99% of the time when I've had offense at my leader, it has been things in my own heart that I've had to navigate and deal with. And I personally think our church is a great place to do things like that because we have hard conversations all the time and we're not afraid of them. We're not afraid of them. And I think if I could say anything to a lead pastor is don't be afraid of the tough conversations, but worship leader, be for your pastor.
100%.
And
Come
if you're
on
like,
now.
well, the Lord hasn't called me away somewhere else, as soon as you feel like a disconnect, you either need to set yourself down or you need to consider, reconciling with your pastor or you leaving altogether.
Well, here's the thing. If you're not for your pastor, you're not for your church.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because you
Straight up.
can't separate the pastor from the church.
It's
Yes.
And there's a
impossible.
lot
Teach
of
it.
worship team members this is probably going to be the reason why you subscribe right now and then share this over to your friends. Because if you're not for your pastor, you're not for your church.
Right.
Yep.
And there's so many worship teams that function as like basically wedding teams, like a wedding band.
wedding band.
And it's kind of like they're there, they do their thing, they go back. But then on the flip side, to your point, is if there's gossip among the worship team, I would say it's because the lead pastor hasn't established comfortability to come to them.
Yeah.
So sometimes
Yeah.
lead pastors are mad about things that are happening on their worship team that they actually created the conditions for. So it's really what we've been trying to say in this course of this conversation is it's a two-way street.
Yes.
It's like,
Yes.
because none of what we said works if the pastor's motive for the team is not pure.
Right.
None of what we said works if the worship team's motive towards the pastor's not pure.
Yes.
So that's at the end of the
Check your
day,
heart.
it's got to come back to that. So we're going to have more of these conversations. Matter of fact, I want to see the comment section because what you guys are putting in the comments right now is going to help us determine what future videos we need to make.
That's right.
I want you to
let's
jump
hear it.
on over to the next teaching because we're talking about toxic teams. Help, my team is
Ooh.
toxic. So maybe you're
Let's
like
do it.
watching this, you're like, that was good. Me and my
excited,
pastor are
though.
okay, but really me and my team are not.
I really want that.
I want you
team.
to click over and watch that video right now because it's going to be
Come on
real
now.
good. But we've
do
learned
it.
so much from this. This is great. Let's keep going. It's going to get deeper from here.
Let's go.